super stoked to have you on.
Dude, yeah.
Chilling. We were just
Thanks for
watching the
having us.
game.
It's that's a it's a tough time right now.
It was a choice to put it up.
Yeah, it was like we were watching a little bit of Rocket's Magic, and then I was like, let's turn up the pain knob a little bit,
Yeah.
switch it up.
Yep, a little self-inflicted. Yeah, it's not
Mhm.
normally like that for the Sixers, but
Oh no,
it's
it's
been one of
normally
those
pretty good.
Yeah,
years.
it's pretty. I feel like it's pretty regular at this point.
That's fair. But there's always, a degree of hope.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
that's you can only have you need contrast. You have to have the hope to really have the depths of the pain.
Right. Um, well, before we talk a little bit of basketball, I'd like starting talking about music a little bit. And the first question I like to ask people is I'd love to know what you're currently listening to.
Um,
Jane Remover.
Jamie, yeah, we were just
Yeah.
that new song is so good. Actually, like, I'm so bad with this, so I wrote some stuff down because I always like forget. Oh, the new Marie Davidson album.
That
Okay.
That
that
was
one
like,
is so sick.
yeah.
That album cover is shot in Atlantic City.
Really?
Yeah, it's like outside of this really derelict part of Atlantic City. It's really gnarly there.
Oh, that's crazy. I was actually because I thought it would have been like some not AI, but like some sort of like
No, I know the
next
exact
level
street
graphic.
that it is. Like I've driven past it. It's so
Wow.
weird.
Damn, that's crazy. That a lot. That Ethel Cain album
Yeah.
cover is like
The
so,
Unexpected Drone album from Ethel Cain.
dude, so sick. I've been that's kind of like whenever it's like a little like doomy out or like
Yeah.
rainy or dark or whatever, just like walking through Manhattan listening to that is like really next level.
Yeah. Have you
Um,
listened to the Jane River side project, Venturing?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been
Matt,
super into
Matt
it.
was just telling me about that last week when we were
Yeah,
Super
yeah,
good.
Ghost Holding, right? Yeah, it's
Way
really
different
sick.
than the normal stuff.
Yeah, it reminds me of the last album, which I liked a lot. Like I listen to Census Designated still like a
Mhm.
ton. I love her music a lot.
Yeah.
yeah, I've had it
Now,
in locked and loaded for the past like week. I'm excited to
right.
check that out.
And now it just got announced on the Lollapalooza lineup.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
sick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sick.
Uh, cool. Yeah, those are some good picks. One thing specifically I like to do is that, when I have guests on, I like to have them add a song to an ongoing playlist we're making. Do you guys have a song you would add to it?
Is is that Jane song on it? Dancing with Your Eyes Closed?
Happy to add that one. No one's
There
done
you
it
go.
yet, so
That was good.
All right.
sweet. Uh, cool. So you guys are both from Philly. Did you grow up in Philly?
I'm not from Philly. I'm
Oh,
my dad is from Philly,
got
so
it.
I would go there a bunch growing up, like when my grandparents were still there, and then but that was like up until probably like middle school or something like that,
Mhm.
and then my grandparents left, so it's like don't really like I go there now for shows and stuff, and I have some friends who live
Sure.
there. I was there like last weekend, but I grew up in Vermont, so
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. My whole family's from like outside Philadelphia as well. And so but I actually grew up in New Jersey. So
Okay.
like just
Yeah.
right next door.
Sure. Yeah. And well, New Jersey music scene, growing up, I can imagine. What kind of stuff were you listening to in Jersey?
That's a good question. I mean, like, I think that obviously, like, Bruce Springsteen is like,
Yeah.
the biggest thing ever in
Bruce.
Jersey. So it's like everybody in my town, when he would play at the Meadowlands, like every year, like, it would be like this huge, like, tailgate where like everybody from my town would go
Sure.
to. Um, so yeah, Bruce Springsteen for sure. But yeah, it's funny. I didn't really get into like more like New Jersey like pop punk or like
Yeah.
kind of that sort of thing until I got a little older and I like got more into that stuff. Because when I was
Sure.
younger, I was always on the internet, like listening to internet music, I feel like.
Yeah. That was definitely the move for me as well. I mean,
Yeah,
I
for
remember
sure.
purevolume.com is how I found a lot of
Sure.
music.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Damn, I'm not hip to that.
Yeah.
Pure
Uh
volume.
yeah, it was like it was like a competitor to MySpace Music, basically.
Oh, okay, word.
Got it. Sick. I wonder
Um,
if it's still up.
Yeah, is your
definitely a
profile?
lot of like, pop punk emo bands for sure.
Oh yeah.
Brand New was huge on Pure Volume, I'm sure.
Broken
Oh yeah,
Skull.
I am sure. Yeah, definitely. Um, what about Vermont? What's music scene in Vermont like?
I mean, I kind of grew up playing in like metal,
Hmm.
hardcore, adjacent that world, but not like I feel like you say that and people assume it was cool or something, but it was like that was like the deathcore era, you know, like
Sure.
at its like grip. So I was playing in like really like just like random low tuned heavy bands, which
Hmm.
was really sick. There's like some people in that scene, especially when I was growing up, who were just like I don't know, they're just like cool people to look up to. And like
Sure.
I feel like that's the sick part about like a heavy scene in every city is it's just like the easiest entry point to like start playing in bands and stuff
Hmm.
like that. Um, but yeah, I was really into that and then really into like hip hop, I guess, just like started making beats and stuff like Flockavelli era when like Lex Luger was like at the top of his game.
Hmm.
Not to throw strays at Lex Luger, he's still killing it, I'm sure. But
If you're listening, we love you.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's almost certainly listening. I
If you're
guarantee.
listening, we still use your sample pack.
Dude, literally. Um,
Um,
but yeah,
yeah, that's awesome, and I feel like it makes a lot of sense having if you started off in a lot of metal bands like that kind of sound coming through in some of the model actress stuff. Like I feel
for
like it
sure.
does have a lot of that like almost metal bass, especially bass tones.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think like um I know that's especially true for like me and Jack kind of grew up with like breakdown type bands and like hardcore and
Mhm.
shit like that. And then um, you know, like Cole coming from like Cole was into like pop music and was a theater kid, you know, and Ruben
Yeah,
was like classic California sort of like I guess like garage indie rock kind of person. I feel like that's how like yeah, I don't know.
the
Just
music really does sound like a combination of all of that, which is kind of insane to
yeah, yeah.
directly hear that.
And then inevitably everyone turns like 22 and starts caring about house and techno music
Yeah, right.
and
Of course.
moves to a coastal elitist city
Yeah,
and
we like that
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Sure. I'm curious about so there's a new album coming out in May. Um, and I'm a big fan of Dog's Body, and it's listening to that, it's like such oftentimes an intense and like jarring experience to listen to, but also very
Word.
cinematic. Um, I'm curious to know how the new album Pirouette kind of differs from that previous album.
I guess like I don't know if we'd necessarily like started out with this intention, but like pretty early on in the process, we started thinking about it as kind of like a sister record in some ways, like
Mhm.
a continuation of like ideas, maybe not as much musically as like emotionally, or kind of like um just seeing Dog's Body as this very sort of like dark
Yeah,
place that we were in both like musically and just kind of like at that point in time and um wanting to make something that felt bright and
sure.
like um yeah, just something like that.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
do you feel I mentioned that like a lot of music, the music does feel kind of cinematic. Do you guys feel like that's an intentional thing you guys try and do?
Cinematic. I mean, I guess when I think like cinema, I think of like lofty goals is like the closest
Okay.
like kind of touchstone I could see where it's like we want there to be some sort of like narrative arc or sort
Yeah,
of like um not really intentionally like we're not writing songs kind of like in that space, but we are kind of
sure.
like constantly we feel like kind of like constantly carving away at what is the like what is a good album, and it's just about kind of like letting it reveal itself to you in a
Yeah,
way rather than like forcing it. And I think that maybe that has some sort of connection to like
sure.
a cinematic view or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, I think for me is I hear it's definitely some of like you go from like really loud to really quiet, and like a lot of that kind of like pacing of it
Mhm.
reminds me of like kind of like film scores and things like that. And also
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
there's also the very like there's like this Trent Reznor like kind of comparison, and now he's doing all the movie scores and stuff, and
yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah.
incredible at it.
Shout out.
The
I
goat.
mean, I think just like obviously everyone can see it with Cole like at a live show, but it's like
Sure.
it was like I think we're just fans of drama and like see the value in like in uh in like a high drama presentation of like
Yeah.
everything you do. Not like overstated, but you know what I mean?
Sure.
I think that's what like is so attractive to people about like dance music and heavy music and a lot of like underground stuff that
Yeah.
like Matt was talking about with like SoundCloud or stuff like it's just like wanting shit to hit. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like I think especially if you kind of like grew up and like one of the first things you wanted to do was like quote unquote make bangers that never really like leaves you, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's like when you put everything else around that sort of energy, I think it kind of
That feeling really doesn't ever go away. Like that, like idea of like once you start making music like in that way where it's all about like that tension and release, like
mhm.
but in like a really like online sort of way, I feel like it doesn't ever leave you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. So Matt, I'm also curious. You make music under Shadows. Are you still making some new tunes coming out?
Yeah, I'm basically I just put out a single called Heaven. But yeah, right now it's just mostly like putting out singles and just basically like doing some touring
Mhm.
and shows and mostly DJ sets these days, but
Sure.
just a lot of dance music with some kind of like leanings towards like emo, vocals and like chord progressions and things like that. So
Sure.
yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
we're playing together next week.
That's
Yeah.
what I was going to ask. Nice.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And Matt played with us the last time was at our last record release
Yeah, that's right.
in Chinatown. So that was really
Cool.
sick as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you guys meet?
We
We
used to
met
be in
in
a yeah,
Boston.
so we met in college, and then we were in a band together for a while. And yeah, we just met through mutual friends, and then we were in a band for like a couple years.
Just like skating and
Yeah.
hanging out really
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we
I need to
probably
know what this band was.
it was called Olivia.
Yeah, so it
Oh,
was like
sick.
it was sort of like this was when like emo rap was really big. And
Mhm.
so we were sort of like, well, what if we like made a band, but like make it sort of like in that vein? And so
Sure.
we opened a bunch of shows for like Goth Boy Click and like a bunch of that like that scene and stuff. It was pretty interesting. It was a pretty interesting
I
time.
recall Broken Side.
Uh, I mean, I don't know if that was like really our vibe. It was very
No, no,
like
no, no.
that would be crazy though. I would love that for them.
Dude, now
That
that would work.
That would go stupid, I
I
think.
honestly like the way kind of like stuff comes back around. I would not be shocked to see a band come out sounding like that right now.
Yeah.
Definitely, without question. I could see that like being pretty big, like crunk core
Well, I
being
feel like
like really
I
big.
feel like there's already like kind of like you can tell that some people are like just so like they've like reached like new levels of uh internet fluency where they're like
Sure.
able to like take just the most tasteful and potent parts of that shit, like Frost Children or something, where it's
Hmm.
just like, I don't know, you like we toured with them too. It's like you meet people who are like they're taking just the littlest bit of something that like sprinkle it in and it works so well.
I
Hon-
walked by them on the way here. I literally walked past them.
Honestly,
Two of them, yeah.
Oh, there you
the difference between like hyper pop, like 100 gex, and that kind of music is not that far off. Like
go.
there's really only so much difference that you have to take out or add to it.
Well, I noticed that too, because like my middle brother, older brother, is like he grew up on like tons of like Midwest emo and like that whole New Jersey scene of like brand
Hmm.
new and all that stuff. And then also kind of like that mashup era.
Yeah.
And like he loves hyperpop and like he showed me like Skrillex back in the day and he's like now super into like I don't know, I can't think of it off the top, but like what's attractive to him about it is kind of like that same thing you're talking about where it's like not that different from like
Yeah.
some like earlier 2000s like what is that guy Panda or whatever.
Panda
Um,
Bear.
oh
Is
no,
it?
I know
No,
what you're talking about. You're talking about like it's like a mashup
legendary
DJ,
like
like
mashup dude. Yeah.
Oh, Girl
yeah,
Talk is what I think of.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Girl
That's another
Talk
one, but
or
there's
like
another
Pretty
one.
Lights was like another like
Yeah,
mashup
There
kind
was
of
the
vibe.
Hood Internet was another one.
Yeah,
Whoa.
them, and then wow, there's so many ones. But who was the panda guy? That's gonna
I'll
drive me
I'll think of it
crazy.
and send it to you.
Yeah,
But
Okay. All right.
there were
But
so
like even Skrillex, you were talking about Skrillex, like he was in From First to Last, the Screamo band,
that's
and then
true.
he started DJing and doing dubstep stuff. So
so good.
Yeah, the
it's
pipeline.
not that different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which I think like is like kind of I think people like to, especially like in social media age, I think people like to imagine that like bands, especially bands that like get critical acclaim or like have like that sort of like pitchforky adjacent
Sure.
vibe. I think people assume that they're kind of like it's like the same assumption that like I don't know, like someone who like is very well read is also gonna like dress well, or someone who's like really
Yeah.
into, like high fashion is gonna like know how to cook well or
be like well
something.
read,
Sure.
Yeah, and
whatever.
it's like everyone's not just like I don't know.
One thing. Like you can't
Yeah,
make
Yeah.
assumptions about everything just based off one
exactly.
characteristic.
Yeah.
Well, just like if you go to a music festival, you're probably going to see like hundreds of NBA jerseys, and I bet you less than half of them actually watch the NBA.
The Luca Lakers jersey is gonna
Oh
go
man.
double
Dude,
platinum.
our manager bought a Luca bootleg. He lives in he's from LA, but he bought a Luca bootleg t-shirt like 5 minutes after
I mean,
the
Oh
trade
wow.
was announced.
how many Luca Lakers jerseys do you think were in the Rolling Loud crowd? Like there was they must have been selling them outside the arena. Like,
Coachella is going to be crazy this year with that.
oh my
Very
God, so
true.
real. But imagine Flower Crown and Luka Doncic's Lakers jersey.
Yep.
That's
That's
a
it.
crazy fit.
Together for
Yeah.
sure.
I'm saying
Yeah.
together.
Or a couple. That could be a good couple too.
Oh my
For sure.
God. Oh,
Well, in pivoting a little to talk about some NBA, there's a question that kind of want to ask to bridge that. It's like a lot of NBA players have like a pregame ritual. Uh, and when you play a show, do you have a pre-show ritual?
Yeah, I mean, we all stretch like
Oh, nice.
to varying degrees, try to stretch. Um, and then we'll like link fingers and say grace.
that's sick.
Nice.
I don't know how that started, but yeah, we'll try to just kind of like have like one little moment of just like something goofy just to like
Yeah.
break up any nerves or whatever real quick. But yeah, Ruben's in there, he's taping up his hands. He's getting ready for war. Jack's doing a million push-ups.
You doing
And
the chalk toss?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
that would you should
exactly.
start
But we
doing
throw it
that.
directly at the ground.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Just throw it down instead of upward.
yeah.
Amazing.
Did he
Well,
do that in his first game? Like, because he
I
wasn't doing
don't
that in
think
high
so.
school,
I
was he?
think
No.
That was
no,
No, I think
that
because
was
KG would do that.
that was added additional content. That was
Yeah,
that was DLC.
yeah.
yeah. But KG would do the clap.
Uh-huh.
He wouldn't do
Oh,
the toss.
yeah. I can only
Uh,
really picture him like slamming his head into the
Yeah, in the like
whatever.
underneath the hoop. Yeah, the padding.
Mhm.
yeah,
Classic.
Goddamn legend.
love him.
So before this, you said you were tuning into the Sixers game. What I did not check the score. What was happening?
We were
Oh, it was like a lot of points and then like significantly less points. And we had
Oh, you had a lot.
what's up?
well, it
Did
was a
you
big
did you
No,
were
no,
you on the high end?
we were on the low end.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay.
we're playing the Thunder. So
Well,
it
because
Oh,
we're
was
that's not going to bode well.
yeah, right. But I don't think Shea was playing. or at least we didn't see him play in the first like half
Interesting.
that we watched.
Yeah, I
But
didn't
Chet
see.
was playing.
Mm-hmm. Shout out, Jay.
Shout
So
out to Chet.
what's going on? I just like I feel like
Well,
we this is a safe space. I feel like we can talk freely about the Sixers.
All right, here's my thing.
here we go.
We've spent, I don't even know, like I have this like a group of friends like that I grew up with in Vermont that like we watched, not as much now that we don't live in the same neighborhood, but like we used to watch so much NBA together, and like every off season we would be hanging out, and then like I would be getting psyched up again for the season, like okay, wow, like this is actually, I'm not saying it's the year, but it's the year. And then they would just like watch the meltdown of me and the Sixers like every year in the playoffs. And I would like every year tell myself like I'm not gonna let myself get like hope again and get excited. And then Joel MVP season, you know what I mean? Or like something, or like Tyrese Maxey comes out, you know what I mean? Or it's like, oh, they got Paul George, and it's just like we've just been getting punished with hope for like 4 years. And this is the first time that I can really say that I've just like slipped into the like nice warm bath of giving up. And it is so nice. I have to say,
I don't think that it's going to I think that in August you're gonna be so back on the train.
I just can't possibly see any way that I could like
That's what, yeah,
I could
but
be
I say
back,
that every year
but I
too.
think I could be back in a way where it's like if it really felt like there was going to be some sort of like sketchy rebuild start.
Sure.
But I just don't see how, like I feel like it's been every single level of like disappointment in terms of like injuries, playoff disappointments,
Yeah.
like midseason trades going for just like everything where I'm just like there's nothing anymore that can like what else could there be?
But do you think this is the roster that's can do it?
This?
Right.
Absolutely. No.
Well, no.
Okay. All right.
It's over.
No, I think it's
It's done.
very safe to say that I think it's over.
I think it's
Like the process era
Right.
is either it has come to a close or like is likely coming to a close.
I think like maybe there's like a way in which you trade. We were gonna get like nerdy about it. It's like maybe there's a way to like trade PG for picks, like maybe a first round pick.
Maybe.
Yeah, before
How
he
many years is he signed to?
well, it's not that, it's because he got injured like at the last second that
Oh, it's
makes
his
it.
He's
pinky.
out for the
No,
season
no, no.
now.
It's his groin, and he like has to have like
Oh, right.
he might have to have like surgery on his like groin and or like his knees
Yeah.
and stuff.
Plus, PG's aging. Like
Well, I
he's
was gonna say in the ideal scenario, right, where I'm just trying to
right.
paint a scenario where you're rebuilding with Joel there,
Yeah.
not thinking he's gonna ever be close to MVP again. It's like if you can trade PG for something,
Mhm.
you can get a top six pick in this year's draft by like tanking the rest of the season, and it happens to be maybe like a wingy guard, whatever.
Sure.
And then
It's a good draft to do it.
Yeah.
Joel is like his meniscus never is repaired, but
No,
all you need him to be is like a bridge
sure.
to like a rebuild, and he becomes like a 2010 and whatever. I don't even know if he
Yeah.
can.
I
You know
think
what I mean?
that's
He
certainly
becomes
doable.
a
Yeah.
way overpaid, but like above average NBA center.
Almost like fast tracking to be like a contributing vet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Just
exactly.
skipping right past his prime and being like, all right, I'm a positive vet force on this team.
yeah, he
Yeah, and it's
becomes Dwight
like,
Howard.
Yeah.
but even then, it's like I don't know how you can. I don't see how there could be a future where you have like some functional level of Joel and you're not winning like 45 games or something, you know what I mean? So it's like hard to see like how can you have like a decent enough Joel to get to that point where you have
Right.
a new team that looks good.
Well,
Uh,
you do have Maxi and you do have Jerry McCain, who unfortunately went down for the year, but he was looking great
And
when he was
he
playing.
probably would have won rookie of the
mm,
year, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, it was really fun. I was in I was on vacation when like the news hit that he got hurt, and I was just like I just like couldn't believe it. I was just
Yeah.
like
That was
it was the
really,
one thing that it felt like we were allowed to have this year that all of a
yeah.
sudden was gone because Maxi started the season off. poorly as well. So it was like even he was like our shining light for the past couple of years
Yeah, that was
Sure.
tough.
of like pure positivity when everything else is dark. Um,
Love
But
Maxi.
like,
that's a small team though.
yeah,
It
but
is.
I think the other thing though is that if they move off of Embiid like in any way without trading him and keeping him on the team, like I don't know what his like ego is going to look like in terms of like because he's not exactly like the most um like low ego player that I can think
Yeah.
of. And
There's
so
there's there's some Jimmy Butler similarities in personality
yeah, so
to
I
Joel.
feel like if there was a scenario where like either they, let's say they drafted like a young center or they traded for
My
some sort
blood
of small
pressure's
guy now.
rising.
Like I feel like it would like I don't think that he could be like a cool contributing vet. I don't think he could mentally do that. I feel like he would
Yeah,
crack.
Yeah, he also just seems to have like such issues with like valid issues, but like with just sort of like public perception in terms
yeah,
of like the way that every injury is just like hidden so sketchily and like so weirdly that it's like it's hard to imagine the guy who's behind that with his team being so like cagey or whatever, then
sure.
like having the sort of openness to like welcome in a new era where it's like, all right, I'm a little cooked.
Yeah,
So
everything is so shrouded in like mystery that
yeah.
like that I think that's the tricky thing is that like obviously like we know in like the short term that the goal is like okay, well, tanking is probably in our best interest right in this very moment. However, like everything is so shrouded in mystery, like in terms of like where Embiid's health is at, what the thoughts of the organization and like the administration is in terms of like what the game, what they want to do with him or where they want to take the team. Like I feel like as fans, we have zero clue.
Hmm.
I mean, thinking of things in maybe the most positive light, is there a world where the Sixers kind of pull off a 2019 Warriors, where like they were really good and then everyone got hurt and they had the number 2 pick in the draft and then they came back and won the next year? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like
like
in
Andrew
that
Wiggins.
situation, Joel Embiid is Steph Curry, and there's like a 200-pound difference.
fair.
So
And
it's kind of
also
like,
stacked surrounding of still had Clay, still had Draymond, who was like still kind of at his
Yeah.
yeah,
peak.
it's like also like a all-time leadership stars versus minus the punching Jordan Poole in the face, but like all-time leadership
Well, that was
stars
after.
versus all-time like shitty teammate kind of vibes. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Not
yeah.
that like it doesn't seem like people like don't like Embiid, but it does feel like they all kind of like paint a picture that
Sure.
he makes them feel
Like
let down or something.
yeah, yeah.
I
Like he's
also feel
not.
like we haven't seen like McCain healthy and Embiid healthy together, and like those personalities don't feel like they don't clash well.
Well, it's possible that maybe like, the future of the Sixers is like, with Maxi and McCain and stuff.
Yeah,
Like maybe it is like our personality. It's going to become this happy
happy dudes. Yeah,
like it's like
Yeah.
our whole perspective on life is going to change.
Dude, all NBA like smiles team. You got
yes, give me it. I need it.
McCain,
Crazy.
Maxey, LaMelo. LaMelo's kind of like it's like a smirk, but you know what I mean. It's like
Yeah, bring
he's
back
all up.
Oubre.
He's a, bring back
Bring him
Oubre.
back. We need
Quick,
You need a
quick,
big,
quick non sequitur. Most handsome man in the NBA.
absolutely,
Who
without a
with me?
doubt.
for sure, without question.
All
Everybody
good
knows.
looks, first team.
Everybody knows it.
And then wait, what else? Wait, so
You
that's
need bigs. You have no bigs.
Who would
yeah,
okay? Who's like a big with like the nicest smile?
big with Riz, big with Riz, big with Riz.
Um,
I can't think of any. Jaren Jackson Jr. low key. Some
Yeah,
like I feel like he's like as if he wasn't on the Grizzlies, maybe he'd play with even more joy.
or maybe you go with like a kind of a different approach, but you go for like a Steven Adams. I
I
mean,
was yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's like oh, what are we talking about? It's Brooke Lopez.
oh, totally. So,
yeah, no,
Brooke
you're
and
right. You're
Robin.
right. You're right. You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
for
You're right. I
sure.
forgot.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
That's
you're
a
right. You're right.
I love the all smiles team. That's great.
Dude, yeah, that is sick.
Um, so overall, being a Sixers fan, do you guys feel like you are unjustly overhated?
No.
I mean,
Oh, so you
yes.
think it's justly?
I think it's I think certain situations that like the media like seems to fixate upon.
Sure.
Also, like, I don't know, I'm not from Philly. I'm not going to games
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Like, I don't know if I can really like speak quite with whatever. Anyways, I was gonna say like with there's still like commentators who will talk about how it's like, oh, they like ran Ben Simmons out of town. It's like, dude, they were so patient with that
Everybody
man.
was
It's
so
like,
patient with
We all
him.
eventually realized Ben Simmons is
Was
kind of a
not
fraud.
good.
yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I think there's just like if you view everything through the lens that Sixers fans are toxic, I think then it's like it kind
Right.
of it's pretty imbalanced. Like I think it can be I think it's just like I don't know, they can be kind of crazy.
I mean, I think it's like I think it's both where it's like I think what you're saying, right? Like the idea that the concept that like Sixers fans are toxic to the team is like I think that's not real. Like I think that
Sure.
that's kind of false. However, like, growing up in an Eagles Sixers household, like, Philly fans are gnarly. Like they're super passionate, they're super gnarly. Like when things are not going their way, like they're gonna make it heard. But I don't think that like, after seeing again like how patient people were with Embiid, how patient people were with Ben Simmons, like in particular, like I mean, obviously, like I think in recent history,
Markel Fultz, it's like
right,
I
the
don't think
only
people are like
person.
booing Fultz. You know what I mean? It's like that man forgot how to shoot. It's
And
like,
even when everybody was like really hating on Tobias Harris, like for all those years, like there was a pretty big window of time where people like gave him the benefit of the
see,
doubt.
that's what
Yeah.
it is. I think that if there is some sort of like lar if there is like a large amount of like hate and aggression, I think it's like it gets it's as if they say it's all towards the team when it's like no, it's just like it's the ownership and the management has been such a mess and like things have gone so horrifically and strangely and surprisingly
Yeah.
wrong every season for so long that it's like Knicks fans are insane, but it's like
Sure.
Knicks were like pretty much irrelevant for like up until like 2 years ago, you know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
if the Sixers had just had the like the goddamn respect to be irrelevant instead of disappointment, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
we thought we were going to be relevant.
yeah, it's like not like people were talking about Sixers fans were crazy during early process years. It's just once there's actual like chance chances of like a championship that people like start to invest.
Sure.
And
And then when things go absolutely sideways, like every single year, like
yeah,
people are bound to get frustrated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the idea that Sixers fans are like toxic to the team is objectively false.
yeah,
Sure. And I think a lot of that kind of comes from too is that the Sixers are rivals with a lot of other strong fan bases like the
Sure.
Celtics and the Knicks and stuff. It's like those are all just very like strong, loud fan bases, and you're bound to like clash, just hate on each other.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think
something my dad always says, like whenever I'm hanging out with him and he's a big Sixers fan, obviously, hence passing down the curse. And he always talks, he's like, why do the announcers keep talking about this like Celtics rivalry? He's like, it's not a rivalry. They always beat us. Like never he like can't get past
not
it.
on
He's just like
Christmas. What
he's
you
like
mean?
you need to that's true. Shout out Christmas. But it's like oh God.
Christmas was sick. Christmas was sick this year.
I was in Japan. I couldn't even watch.
That was sick. That
Man.
was like a really epic, and then it all went wrong, like, as usual. But that was a good day.
That was a good day.
Well, I'm personally on your side because I'm happy to dislike the Celtics.
Oh,
Oh yeah, what fan are you? Are you
I'm a
behind? Are you?
Bulls fan.
okay.
Oh
So
God,
you're like
Speaking
you're
of
here
speaking
with
of
us.
masochism,
Yeah, you're here with us.
God. What is that like?
it's yeah, it's been tough,
Yeah.
especially because like I'm people are probably so sick of me talking about it out here, but like literally the teams are made to like be average, like they structure them
Right.
that way on purpose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I mean,
I
were you bummed to see Levine go in any way?
no, I was ready. I was definitely
Yeah.
ready.
You're
I
probably right.
haven't been
I'll
super
go.
excited about the team since D Rose. Like
Mm.
I
That's
was a little optimistic when Levine came through for the first time, and that first half with like DeMar Levine and Lonzo, like that was like really exciting.
Like pre-Lonzo injury.
Yeah, exactly. But ever since then, it's been like, I mean, Kobe has been cool, like to see him grow, but I just it's not there. It's not all there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Are
I
the
want them to strip it
games
back.
yeah. Are the games in Chicago like well attended still? Like
Absolutely. Number one in attendance every year.
okay.
Really?
Yeah, I
Yep.
was
That is
because
insane.
Sixers are pretty high as well. Like they're not
Mhm.
number one, but like they're surprisingly high even in spite of all of this nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, they're fun games to go to. Like you
Yeah,
can't
for
deny it.
sure.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
seeing basketball live is so fun.
There's nothing
Mhm.
like it. For us, it's tough because living in New York, it's like our
Yeah.
options are either like watch Knicks Sixers and like pay $1 million
Yeah.
to MSG, or watch Nets Sixers, which is like
I mean,
always
the
What a
awful.
bummer.
having Nets at Barclays is nice because like you can, if you just treat it as a way to see like
Yeah.
stars before they retire or something like that, I think it's good for that because you can go cheap. But it
Yeah.
is just like it's just like such a different thing. It's like
Yeah.
it is the like I went with my girlfriend not that long ago to a game and it is like she was like, dude, it is like dead in here. It is
Yeah.
crazy.
I used to live a couple blocks away from Barclays Center,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
it's a. I mean, the games are fine, but yeah, I see what you're saying. It's almost like there's like a little bit of a lack of a soul in that stadium.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
little
And it's
strange.
like tough too because then you see New Jersey Nets fans with the gear walking around, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that
Nah, when
that's
when when
crazy.
the Nets left New Jersey, like because when I was younger, I was a huge Iverson fan, and then I was also like a Nets fan, like growing up with like Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, Vince Carter. Like, uh, I when the second they left, it was like this is not my team
I'm
anymore. Like
done. Yeah.
this is fraudulent. Like this is over.
Yeah.
Well, what about the talks that they might move the Sixer Stadium to Jersey?
Well,
Well, it's
yeah,
done.
it's done.
It is done.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not gonna.
yeah, they're not going to.
Okay. I was
The
gonna say
theory is that
that people would be so mad.
I think
Yeah,
the theory is that it was all kind of just a threat to try and like leverage a better deal from
whoever owns the
whoever.
sports
Yeah,
complex
'cause
Yeah.
land.
they wanted because it's like it is in such a good zone. It's
Yeah,
so easy
Yeah.
to.
there was never any real reason to build a stadium either in Camden or in Chinatown in
Yeah,
Philly. Like there was no good reason to
Yeah.
do that. I think it was like posturing for like trying to get a better deal in the sports
Sure.
complex.
art of the
La-
deal.
Beautiful.
Last year, I got to talk briefly with Mannequin Pussy, and they were very upset at that prospect of moving the
Yeah, I mean,
stadium.
I don't blame them. Like it really was a pretty gnarly like
Yeah.
proposition. It didn't really make a lot of sense.
I mean, I like stayed. My girl. Oh, sorry. Uh, it's this cultured soda.
You're just pounding carbonation. That's what's
Yeah,
gonna
Yeah,
happen.
literally.
I'm just drinking straight culture. But we stayed not that far from the like mall or whatever where they were gonna put it in. And
Hmm.
then when someone told me like years later that that's the location they were thinking about for the stadium, I was like, no
There's
way.
literally
That's
no
like
way. Like
insane.
if you walk around there, you're just like, in what
I'm like, but
universe?
where did the cars go?
Like it didn't even make any sense. So
There's Chicago sports teams been talking about moving to the White Sox moving elsewhere and stuff like that. So
yeah, well, it's because all the teams want to own the stadium. Like
yeah.
that's the whole shtick now. So it's the Oracle Arena method.
Well,
Yeah,
don't let the taxpayers pay for the stadium then, and we'll figure it
yeah,
out. You can own it
Yeah,
if you pay for it.
yeah.
yeah,
No, no,
exactly.
it's the Steve Ballmer method.
Right? Um, cool. So the other question I had is, do you guys play basketball ever?
I do.
Like not since I was in middle school. I am like 5'8", so I'm not on basketball.
Well, Aaron, you got some height.
I got some. I actually during the probably like I would play like shoot hoops around kind of like randomly like most of my life and like had like a hoop growing up, but like
Mhm.
didn't play like in middle school or high school.
Sure.
And then maybe in 2019, like that same group of friends who are from Vermont, who I would watch a lot of basketball with. We all lived like I lived literally across the street from a court in Bed-Stuy, and I started just going there like literally like 6 times a week for like 2 years, and kind of just like learned how to play, and it was super fun.
Yeah.
Um, I
How tall
like
are you?
I'm 6'4".
I'm 6'5". I know that tall life. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, can you dunk?
So yeah, no.
Come
That's
on.
it's a real shame. It's a real shame that I'm 6'5" and I can't dunk.
Have you ever?
I can heartily grab the rim for sure.
Okay,
That's
Uh,
good
yeah,
enough for
but
yeah,
me.
that's not
fitting a
dunking.
ball in there is just I have no ups.
I bet you could do it if
If
you.
I truly like if I spent a year being like I'm do all these like training and exercises to get better vertical, I'm sure I could. Yeah.
I have no like I
Yeah.
the only reason I can dunk is because I have like a 7 foot wingspan. So
Right.
like it's like I'm so not good. Like we skate a lot as well, and it's like
Yeah.
I have no pop either. So it's like
Yeah, I have like a 9-inch vertical.
Right.
right. That's what I'm talking about. Right? But I will say I will never forget like there was like a lot of these like I don't know like 16 to like 20-year-old kids that would like play at that court all
Hmm.
the time. And like one day it was just like no one was really playing. Everyone was just kind of like shooting around, like talking shit, whatnot. And like this one kid was just like, "Oh, you've never like caught an oop or whatever," and just like, "I'm gonna throw you lobs until you
So you
put down one." And I put like barely put down one, and it's on video, and it's like
no way.
Hey,
it is the greatest moment of my life.
Why didn't you
there you
post?
go.
I
Or
don't.
maybe you did
I
post
was
it. I
like,
don't
I think I
remember.
was posting a couple like basketball videos during pandemic when I was just like so bored, and they would always be that Action Bronson right lung,
Hmm.
that song.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know if you know this, but the Dallas Mavericks were thinking about holding open auditions to tryouts.
Yo.
I mean, maybe if you want to head down to Dallas, there's an
Yeah.
opportunity for you.
Dude, I don't know if I trust them with my career.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if
for
they have my
real.
best interests in
I don't
heart.
think so.
I
Yeah,
would that is like that's a good conversation piece is like,
who has it
does
worse?
anyone have it worse than the Mavericks right now?
No,
Anyone ever had it worse?
that trade could not have gone more disastrously. Like it's the worst outcome that could have happened.
I think that is now the new, like for the first half of the season, it was like Jared McCain is going to be rookie of the year. Like that's awesome. But now the second half of the season was like, well, at least we're not the Mavericks.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
What do
that's
you
like,
think's worse, this Mav season or the record-breaking Piston season?
oh, the Pistons, that was pretty tough because I feel like they were like a laughing stock and like that kind of sucked because it's different now because it's like you can make fun of the ownership of the
Yeah.
Mavericks and stuff because like they're just rich dudes and like who cares?
Right.
Like it doesn't matter. But like when it was the Pistons and it was like, you have actual like athletes who are playing as hard as
Yeah.
they can, like, and they're really trying and they're way better at basketball than like the average person would ever even think to be. Like I feel like that is super like gnarly. I mean, I
Sure.
definitely made fun of the Pistons a decent amount, like that year, but
What
like
year was this?
just like
Last year.
yeah,
On what
I'm
they just
happy to see them turn it around like real
yeah, me
quick.
too.
I
Yeah,
was gonna say because I'm like
Cade is
they
super
seem like a
good.
pretty fun team to root for now. It's
Yeah,
like
they
Yeah.
are.
I'll throw on a Pistons. I didn't even I didn't
Cade
even
Yeah.
is so stupid good, dude. It's
Yeah.
like
Really
crazy.
good.
Um,
Uh
yeah,
okay, so
before we get off of it, where's Luca from?
Slovenia.
Luca's from Slovenia.
All right, I do have a theory. Luca killed someone in Slovenia last summer, and Mavs ownership knows about it, and they know that like the story's gonna get out next month.
I, I,
That's all I can.
for posterity, I did not say that.
Okay. Yep.
We,
Separating yourself.
so my lawyer, if you hear this, I did not say that.
But
But dude,
imagine if that
I
was
do
true.
wonder if there could have been like that was like where my head went immediately because I was just not like actually that, but
Yeah,
like
something awful.
did he do something awful or did like there had like or not even like he did something bad, like immoral or unethical, but just like there has to be like some big piece of information that like is gonna drop at some point. And if it's literally, if it's
Just
not, that's insane. That's like,
I just feel like they just didn't like him.
I think
Like
that
straight up.
I
Like
think that there was just
Michael
like,
Finley taking his beer away, like all that stuff.
yeah, that shit was crazy.
he
In
looks
front of his
so
dad,
sad too. He's like,
dude. If that happened to me in front of my dad, holy moly, so embarrassing. My dad is so chill. He would have been so upset.
Yeah. Um, all right. So the last thing I like to do is it's kind of a little game. It's called Build a Band. So the idea is you guys put together a band made of NBA players. You kind of assign them instruments and what's the vibe, what's the sound.
All right, you say you seem like you cooked, so I'm gonna let you start that. I'm
Following
down.
up this Luca murders someone take, I can't wait to hear this
And I had
band.
nothing to do with. I did not acknowledge nor agree with that.
for the record, I don't think Luca murdered someone. If he did, that would explain it a little
That
bit.
would make a lot more
Wait.
sense than it does right
Um,
now.
so we got
What kind of band?
like an ignorant beat down hardcore band.
Sick.
We got Dylan Brooks vocals,
Okay,
Desmond
that
Bain
makes sense.
guitar, Josh Hart bass,
All right, keep going.
uh uh oh God, who's on drums? I was gonna say Jimmy, but Jimmy's not on drums.
Jimmy's too country, man.
He is too country.
Paolo Banchero on drums.
All
No,
right.
busy.
And Steven Adams is the tour manager for sure. uh
That's
Jason Kidd is the coach of the band.
this this
Um,
is this is crazy because this is back to back. The last episode, they also made Dylan Brooks the singer of it was like a Rage Against the Machine
he's
type band.
destined to be a star.
dude, for
He's
sure.
destined to be a
Yeah.
He's
star.
proven his his abilities in a Twitter beef with Drake now. And it's like
Yeah, he's definitely got big like flipping off the crowd energy.
dude,
Yeah.
yeah, he could be like the GG Allen.
Yeah.
Oh my God, imagine he's just like eating his shit on the corner.
He's like seriously like punching fans in the face.
Dude,
Yeah, that's kind of epic.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess also I still think about that every now and then where I'm like, did he get kicked off of the Grizzlies for just like losing to Drake in that?
No, the trade that they had for him was like pretty favorable, if I
Yeah.
recall correctly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it
I mean,
made
he's
sense
he's a
for him.
fine player.
Yeah. Every time he hits like a pull-up three, I'm convinced it's not going in.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about certain players where it's just like I can tell maybe he's like above 30% three-point shooter. I don't know, but like he's just like
Yeah.
I'll never believe it's going in.
Right.
Well, mine is instead of building a band, I'm gonna say that Jared McCain, if his NBA career does not work out, would be like an amazing like TikTok house DJ.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like he could be on like some John Summit, like Dom Dalla type, like TikTok, like house music DJ
Is he
influencer.
just gonna do like some like TikTok lives and like set up shop?
More like
the mashup guys.
no, I'm saying like he's at like club space in Miami, like just doing like the whole fist bump thing. It's like 7 in the morning. He has the shades on, and like
I
there's
could
like
absolutely see that.
girls like behind him, like in the background, and it's all like on film and stuff. Like
That's
that's
good.
that's kind of how I see it.
We got to get the double bill of DJ Diesel and Jared McCain.
The DJ Diesel thing is really crazy. It's
Yeah,
really
he's
insane.
gonna be in
Like
Chicago soon. I'm tempted.
that music that he plays is so wild. I cannot believe that that's like what he's into.
I'm not hip. What's DJ Diesel?
It's
It's
Shaq.
Shaq.
Oh,
DJ
yeah, yeah.
alias. And he
Well,
plays like
dude,
rhythm, like
have
dubstep
you seen the
shit.
video of him working out? And they're like, so like, what music do you listen to working out? And he's like, I don't know. He listens to like two artists. He's like, blah 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 blah, and white boy classics, and then just like starts talking about like Rolling Stones and
All
dude,
right.
it's so
Hell
funny.
yeah.
He's so fucking funny, dude.
Amazing. All right. Well, this has been awesome talking hoops with you guys.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, yeah. Thanks for having us. And
Yeah, definitely had a blast. Looking forward to the new album. Looking forward to new music from both you guys. And thanks again for joining. Best of luck with the Sixers.
Oh
Should we see it?
God,
Should we see if they
we don't need or deserve it. Wait, are you in New York?
No, I was in New York for 4 years. I'm back in Chicago.
Oh, okay, sick. We were just there actually.
Yeah, nice, nice.
Don't worry, we're
Um,
only down by 30.
Oh, wow.
There's hope.
We so up.
well,
Well,
that's
I
about
think
right.
that's a good
Well,
yeah.
if you're in New York, give a shout, and otherwise, we'll hit you up when we play Chicago.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks again for coming on.
Appreciate it.